Hi everyone, I am going to show you a little bit of crochet. I am a fairly novice crocheter, but I can get the job done if I need to. To make the scarf and the hat, you need to know 2 stitches. One is a chain stitch and the second is a single crochet. The pattern calls for a crochet hook, which is a US 00 or 2.7 millimeter. I don't have that size crochet hook, but I went through my stash and I found a size 1, 2.75 millimeter, which I think is pretty close. You can use whatever you have on hand. As long as it matches your yarn, you can adjust your sizes however you like for your scarves and your hats. So to get started, to make the scarf, you make a slip knot like that. And you just want to tighten that onto your crochet hook. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to make a chain stitch. So you wrap around with the hook and then you pull it through the little loop. That's 1 chain stitch. And then you just keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 little stitches. And I like to wrap my scarves around my bears twice. So I'm going to do about 90 to 100 chain stitches. All right, so I have done about, I guess about 90 there, 90 chain stitches. So I'm just gonna check on my bear to see if I'm happy with the length. So I think that'll be a good, maybe put this a little longer like that so you can wrap it around and then tie it if you want to, right? So now what I'm going to do, I think we're good, is we're going to do some singles. So what I'm going to do is to make my very first single, I'm going to make sure my tension is good here, my little loop's not too big, and I'm going to skip the very first chain stitch here, and I'm going to go into the second one down here, and I'm going to push my crochet hook through. I'm going to grab my little bit of yarn through like that, so I have 2 little loops on, and I'm just going to go through my 2 loops like that. That's 1 chain stitch. So now I'm going to go into the next little chain stitch loop that we made before. Pull it through and then just pull the thread through the 2 loops. And then I'm going to go into the 3rd hole, which is here. You just keep going along like that. So you have 2 loops and then you just bring it through. And then that's a single crochet and you get it's not too wide, nice little start to your scarf. So now I'm going to do this all the way to the end, and then I will show you how I did my turns. I did a little differently than how she did in her instructions, because I wanted to have rounded ends on my scarf. All right, so I have done my single crochet to the very end, and I have 1 row now for my little scarf. It's a little uneven, but once we go down the other side and add the pom-poms at the end and wrap it around the bear, you'll not even notice it. And that's partly because I'm a fairly new crocheter and my tension isn't that great. But for this project, I can manage it quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now here is I'm at the very end. This is where I started the chain stitch with the slip knot. I'm going to make 3 single crochets right at the very end. I'm going to pick a hole. Pick a spot here, and I'm just going to make 3 singles all in the same hole. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow a nice turn on the end of the scarf, and it'll look a bit rounded. You can kind of see, you could do just 1, but what would happen is it would just kind of turn, it wouldn't lay flat. So there's my 3rd one, like that. And you can kind of see how what's happening there is it's got a nice turn on the end. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet down the other side. So this here is the edge of my single crochet, and on this side is my chain stitch. So I'm going to put my next chain one over from where I just did the 3, like that. And I'm going to keep going down the end here to the other end. Now I'm just going to add a chain stitch or a single crochet in each of the chain holes that I did before. But you can see now it's laying a little flatter and it's got a nice curved end on it. If you wanted to, you could leave it like this. You could put a tassel on, and then for me, I'm going to put the little pom-poms on the end. I think they'll look kind of cute with this, the two combinations of yarns together. I'm now at the end of the second row of single crochet, and I think I'm going to leave this scarf as a skinny scarf. And so I'm going to finish off the end here. So I've kind of got a bit of a weird thing going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 single crochets in the end of the scarf here. Oopsie, let's try that again. Like that. There's 1, 2, 3. There we go. And now to finish it off, I'm just going to pick up the single, there at the top of the single, there's 2 little, like a little V shape, go through those and pull that through. And instead of doing a single crochet, I'm just going to pull it all the way through to the other end, and I'm going to make a little loop here like that. And I'm going to cut the thread and give it a bit of a tug, and our little scarf is finished. So now to add the pom-poms, I've got my pom-pom here that I was making before, and I'm just going to take one of the ends, stick the crochet hook through anywhere on the end there, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to pull it through like that. And then I'm going to tie a knot. A couple times. And then I'm going to trim these long ends so that they are the same length as my pom-pom ends. Ta-da, done. So now I just need to go do the other side of the pom-pom, doing the same thing. And then that will be, my scarf will be done. And I can put it around my bear, and that looks pretty good, I think.